Good day everyone, I'm Princess Arataog. In this video, I'm going to present the three major events that happened in the life and works of Dr. Jose Rizal. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonzo Rialonda was a Filipino nationalist, writer, and polymath during the tail end of the Spanish colonial period of the Philippines. He is considered as the national hero of the Philippines. So now let's begin in the exile in Dapitan of Dr. Jose Rizal. Jose Rizal's arrival in Manila on June 26, 1892 had become very sensational among the Filipinos. His popularity feared the Spaniards, and as such, paid careful attention to his every moves. All houses where he had been were searched, and the Filipinos seen in his company were suspected. As he had planned, on July 3, 1892, he founded the La Liga Filipina in the house of Doroteo Onjumco in Tondo, Manila. The arrival in Dapitan. Aboard the steamer Cebu and under heavy guards, Rizal left Manila, sailing to Mindoro and Panay until he reached Dapitan at 7 o'clock in the evening of June 17. From that day until July 31, 1896, Dapitan became the bear witness to one of the most fruitful periods in Rizal's life. His stay in the province was more than he living in the exile. It was the period when Rizal had been more focused on serving the people and the society through his civic works, medical practices, land development, and promotion of education. Challenging the religion. In Dapitan, Rizal had a scholarly debate with Father Pablo Pastas regarding religion. It started when Father Pastas sent a book by Sarda to Rizal with an advice that the latter, which is Rizal, should desist from his foolishness in trying to view religion from the prism of individual judgment and self-esteem. This exchange of heated arguments revealed the anti-Christian Rizal, his bitterness on the abuses performed by friars, doing such under the name of the sacred religion. Father Pasas tried his best to win Rizal back to faith but, fortunately or unfortunately, in vain. This series of debate ended inclusively in which neither of them convinced the other of his judgments or arguments. So now let's talk about the careers and contributions of Dr. Jose Rizal. Rizal had maximized his stay in Dapitan by devoting much of his time in improving his artistic and literary skills, doing agricultural and civic projects, engaging in business activities, and writing letters to his friends in Europe, particularly to Ferdinand Blumentritt and Reinhold Rost. His careers and achievements in different fields were as follows. Dr. Rizal became a physician, an engineer, an educator, an agriculturist, a businessman, an inventor, an artist, a linguist, and a scientist. Rizal also partakes in civic works in Dapitan. Upon arriving in the province, he noticed its poor condition. He drained the marshes of Dapitan to get rid of malaria-carrying mosquitoes. He beautified Dapitan by remodeling the town plaza with the aid of his Jesus teacher, Father Francisco Sanchez, and created a relief map of Mindanao right in front of the church. Farewell in Dapitan. At midnight of July 31, 1896, Jose Rizal left Dapitan on board the steamer España together with Narcisa, Josephine, Angelica, which is Narcisa's daughter, three nephews, and six of his students. Many were saddened as the adopted son of Dapitan left. In Cebu, on their way to Manila, Rizal successfully performed an ophthalmic operation to a merchant who paid him 50 silver pesos. After almost a week, on August 6, 1896, España arrived in Manila. Rizal was supposedly to board the Isla de Luzon for Spain, but unfortunately left ahead of time. Instead, he was transferred to the Spanish cruiser Castilla to stay and wait for the next mail boat that would sail for Spain next month. He was prohibited from leaving the vicinity but was allowed to accept visitors so long as they were immediate family. Of course, all these delays were part of drama. Rizal has now fallen to the critical deadly Spanish trap. So now let's proceed to the trial of Dr. Jose Rizal. The preliminary investigation began on November 20, 1896. Rizal was subjected to a grueling 5 days investigation. He was accused of being the main organizer of the revolution by having proliferated the ideas of rebellion and founding illegal organization. He answered the question asked by Judge Advocate Colonel Francisco Olive, but he was not permitted to confront those who testified against him. There are two kinds of evidence were presented to him: documentary and testimonial. Documentary evidences were: first, a letter of Antonio Luna to Mariano Ponce; second, a letter of Rizal to his family; third, a letter from Marcelo H. del Pilar to Deodoro Arellano; fourth, a poem entitled Kundiman; fifth, a letter of Carlos Oliver; sixth, a Masonic document; seven, a letter signed Di Masalang to Tandus; 8. A letter of Timasalan to an identified committee. 9. An anonymous and undated letter to the editor of Hong Kong Telegraph. 10. A letter of Ildefonso Laurel to Rizal. 11. A letter of Rizal Segundo. 12. A letter of Marcelo H. del Pilar to Don Juan Tenluz. 13. Transcript of speech of Pinkian by Emilio Jacinto in a reunion of the Katipunan. 14. Transcript of speech of Tik-Tik by Juan Toriano Santiago in the same Katipunan reunion. And lastly is the poem of Laong Laan entitled A Talisay. Testimonial evidences from Martin Constantino, Agredo del Rosario, Jose Reyes, Moises Salvador, Jose Dizon, Pio Valenzuela, Ambrosio Salvador, Francisco Quizon, Timoteo Paez, Diodato Arellano, Pedro Serrano Lactao, Antonio Salazar, and Domingo Franco. Colonel Olive transmitted the records of the case to Governor-General Ramon Blanco, who in turn appointed Captain Rafael Dominguez as the judge advocate to institute the corresponding action against Rizal. According to the Peña's recommendation, instead of a civilian lawyer, only an army officer is allowed to defend Rizal. The lawyer of Jose Rizal was First Lieutenant of the Artillery, Lieutenant Luis Tavel de Andrade, brother of Jose Tavel de Andrade, the bodyguard of Rizal. Rizal's arraignment is on December 11, 1896. Rizal was charged with the crime of rebellion and the formation of illegal association. On December 13, 1896, while in detention, Rizal released a manifesto that he denounces the revolution and condemned Katipunan for using his name without his permission. The actual trial is on December 26, 1896. The trial ended in a sentence where Jose Rizal was found guilty and sentenced to death by firing squad. The Hall of Banners from the Cuartel de España, he was accused of three crimes: rebellion, sedition, and illegal association. The penalty: life imprisonment, death for rebellion and sedition, correctional imprisonment, and a fine of 325 to 3,250 pesetas for illegal association. On December 28, 1896, Governor-General Camilo de Polavieja approved the decision of the court-martial and ordered Rizal to be executed by firing squad at 7 o'clock in the morning of December 30 at Bagumbayan Field. On his last remaining days, he composed his longest poem, Mi Ultimo Adios, which was about his farewell to the Filipino people. And now let's proceed to the execution of Jose Rizal. At 6:30 in the morning of December 30, 1896, Rizal, dressed in black suit with white vest, and his arms are tied in back, began his march in the field of his execution in Bagumbayan from his prison cell in Fort Santiago. Rizal was accompanied by his military-appointed council Lieutenant Luis Tabiel de Andrade and Father Stanislao March and Jose Villaclara. Holding a rosary in his right hand, Rizal was tied at the elbow as his group walked behind four advance guards armed with bayonets. Historical accounts show that 6 to 8 Filipino volunteer troops composed the firing squad designated by the Spanish authorities to execute Rizal. Another group of the Peninsular Troop also stood behind them as an additional measure just in case the Filipino troops decided to back out. Rizal refused to be blindfolded and insisted on facing his executioners, but this was denied. Rizal wanted to show that he was not a traitor and that he was willing to die for his country. Dr. Felipe Ruiz Castillo, who took Rizal's vital sign and pulse rate before execution, he was amazed to find that Rizal was calm and unafraid. Upon hearing the squad commander shouted of "Fuego" means fire, Rizal turned to face the firing squad. Rizal fell face up and was able to see the dawn breaking before he uttered in his final breath, "Consummatum est," meaning it is finished. Rizal died offering his life for his country and its freedom. In 1898, the first Philippine President, Emilio Aguinaldo, issued his first decree marking Rizal's death anniversary on December 30, rather than his birthday on June 19, to commemorate his heroism and sacrifice for the country. Dr. Asa Rizal became an instrumental in the Filipinos' bid towards independence and several developments in various sectors. Rizal also made contributions to Philippine art, literature, and medicine, which continues to fascinate his countrymen today. Rizal's love for the Philippines was evident in nearly all his actions.